Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at Disney Plus, and welcome to this week's live Q&A. So big hello and welcome to everyone joining in around the world. So each and every week I answer questions from my Patreon and YouTube channel members who help support the channel and the website. You guys rock, because it really does make a massive difference, because it helps support the channel, and with everything going on with Google, etc., it has been a huge amount. So big thank you to everyone. You can also send in super chats as well, just like Tough Luck has done. So huge thank you for you kicking off the event. Also, you can become a member from as little as $5 a month. So big thank you again. So Tough Luck, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the intro question, and then I'll jump straight into yours straight away. Again, thank you so much for your chat. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going in and out between the live chat and also the pre-done questions. They've been able to submit questions in advance. Any super chats that come in will then obviously take priority. But let's start off with the top one at the top of the start of the top of the ticket here. So Miles asks, what announcements from Walt Disney Studios showcase at Destination D23 are you anticipating? Could we possibly see new trailers for films such as Hoppers, Zootopia 2, Tron Ares, and others? So if you're unaware, Destination D23 is a 2-3-day event that's taking place at the end of the month at the Colorado Springs Resort in Walt Disney World, Florida. So this happens every 2 years. It tends to alternate with the D23 Expo in California. And this event is a lot smaller. It takes place on Disney's property. It's in a much smaller venue, and generally it's a little bit more intimate. There's not as many people can go there. I think like 100,000+ people go to the D23 Expo in Los Angeles. The one in Orlando, maybe, I don't know if it might only be a couple of thousand. There's not a huge amount of people that go to it. They only have one major stage, and yeah, it's generally more aimed at die-hard Disney fans, a lot more for locals at Walt Disney World, and generally tends to have a lot more theme park news. Unfortunately, this year they're not even doing a parks panel, which is usually where they announce a load of news about new attractions and theme park news, etc. This is not an event that traditionally is very huge on the list for the movies and the television department. Obviously, flying anybody down to Orlando is additional cost. If they're in LA, it's a lot easier because, obviously they're there. And let's just call a spade a spade. At the D23 Expo last year, or whatever they want to call it, they hired an arena where, 15,000 people could watch this presentation. This year, it's a couple of thousand. So let's get that, let's set the expectation. Those in attendance are probably going, they've got, I think it's just over an hour and a half presentation that kicks off on the Saturday morning. It's not going to be live streamed. They are live streaming some of the panels, but not all of them. But yeah, the studio showcase is not being put out on the internet. Previous years, we have seen maybe the odd clip or the odd little extra trailer come out. Nothing big has really ever been announced at this event. This is very much usually where they show off any clips that they've shown off to people at like San Diego Comic-Con or any other events. And that's what I am expecting here. People in attendance will no doubt get to see some great footage. And I definitely think the focus is more likely going to be on the upcoming films for the rest of the year. So Zootopia 2, probably Hoppers maybe, Avatar Fire and Ash, Zootopia 2, Tron Ares, the new Bruce Springsteen movie, that Ella McKay, I think it is. Those are probably going to be the bulk of the previews, because they're not going to go too much beyond that. I can't imagine anything for like Avengers or anything like that, because that's a long way off. Maybe something from The Mandalorian. Some footage that maybe got shown off at Star Wars Celebration. So I'm not expecting a huge amount to be shown publicly. We might get a little teaser or something like that, but I'm going into this event expecting nothing, and I'm not expecting any major announcements. I'm not expecting anything big coming out of this, because again, it's just over an hour long presentation. there's no big names are going to fly down there for it. They might zoom in or something, but I'm not expecting anything. We are in the era now where Disney is making less for Disney, and again, this is a Walt Disney Studio showcase, not just a Disney Plus. They I mean, there's a question of could they do something? I mean, I think people in attendance, they could maybe see a bit of Wonder Man, a bit of Percy Jackson, but for us at home, I'm not expecting anything really. Let's just jump in. So I'm going to do Tough Luck questions first off. He says, I bet the announcements we get at Destination D23 will be that new Disney animated short verso, which will play in front of Zootopia 2 and whatever the Walt Disney Animating Studio for next year is. I'm not sure if they'll announce next year's movie yet. They could do. I mean, it might not be a bad place to do it. So that's maybe that's a good time to do it, unless they hold off. But yeah, that might be something that they could do. In your other question, you said, I also bet at Destination D23 they'll show a Marvel zombie trailer. Yeah, I could see that because it's coming out in about 6 weeks, so that might be about right, about 3-4 weeks before it. Maybe they drop that globally at the same time. Yeah, not bad, cool. Zootopia 2 scenes, yeah, I think they'll see that. Toy Story 5, 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, a more Shadow Lord trailer. I don't know if that's too early. I would definitely get that they're probably gonna see something for Mandalorian and Grogu. Not sure about that new Shadow series. Maybe they will. I don't think we will. I think it's too early. I think it's a bit too early. But again, thank you, Tough Luck, for your support. That is an amazing way to kick off the show. I really appreciate that. I did ask a poll out to everyone, which everyone can vote. 39% of you think it's going to be a new Marvel show, 6% a new Star Wars show, 36% a Disney show, or 19% for a new Hulu show. Being honest with you guys, Marvel is not going to be doing a lot for the foreseeable future. I think we're going to get Daredevil next year, and I think we're going to get Vision the year after. Maybe Vision comes out the end of next year. I think they're gonna we're hardly gonna have anything. I think we're gonna see when they talk about 1 or 2 shows a year. I think that might be it. I think personally, I think that X-Men and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I think they're going to be done at season 3. I think they'll both be cut off because of going into Secret Wars, where they can kind of clear out all the multiverse stuff and start having a refresh them for 2028. Let's just see here. I'm just going to try and keep on the D23 messages first, and then I will go on a little bit further. Kayla says, I don't have any solid predictions for Destination D23, but I'm hoping they elaborate more on the proposed park being built at Abu Dhabi. While I would love more information about the Abu Dhabi theme park, I don't know if that's too early, and I'm not sure if it's the audience that will not necessarily appreciate it, but I don't know if they're the audience that will really care. I think if they get told too much about Abu Dhabi, they are going to be more upset that Orlando isn't getting it. I'm just not sure it's the right target place to go for it. Personally, I'm really looking forward to Abu Dhabi. I was talking to my parents today when they came over. When that park opens up, I'll be heading over there and seeing it, because it's closer to go to Abu Dhabi than it is to go to Orlando. So for me, it's easier. Matt says the biggest shock of Destination D23 is that there's now no park showcase. But there will be a studio showcase. This is the first. And they did have one last year. I think we ended up getting a little clip that came out. Not a lot. I remember 4 years ago we had a clip or teaser trailer for the Haunted Mansion Muppet special. Goofy story clip or something, and that was it. So this is where I'm setting, like, on the previous 2 events, we've got next to nothing, maybe the clip or something. So I'm not expecting a huge amount. Bubba Trolling says, I don't think we're going to get any news for Disney TV or movies at this year's. They might be doing a little bit. Again, I'm just not expecting a lot to do, a huge amount. Babak says, will they do live streams and recaps on Disney Plus like previous year? They've not announced anything. I mean, I think it would... The fact that the D23 Gold Theater, that you go on the D23 website, they're going to be streaming it there. I think they should have streamed it to Disney Plus, but maybe they're going to do a last... The fact they've made a big announcement of it streaming only on D23.com would indicate to me that it's probably just for them. Matt also says, I'm expecting Tron Ares, Tron Zootopia 2, and Avatar Fire and Ash to get a big push. Yeah, I think those three spot on. I'm just going to again keep on that topic. Right. Okay. Next question. Keenan asks, is Dancing with the Stars going to be broadcast live on Disney Plus simulcast with ABC? If yes, why is it the only reality TV show to do so? Yes, it is. And I think it's actually the reason why it's the only one is because it's the only one that's live. I don't think any of the other ones are. Bachelor isn't live. They don't really make a huge amount of them. And there isn't really a lot of I wouldn't necessarily say reality. It's more of a competition. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe what is it? Like American Idol. Maybe that could be one that they could do. But again, in America, there still seems to be this real divide between linear and streaming. But the simple reason is that there's not a lot of live TV shows anymore because they cost too much. Elliot says, do you think Disney Plus will add a random button for people who want to watch Disney Plus and don't know what to watch? I think Netflix has something similar. I mean, I think it's a good little feature. Whether or not it's any use, whether or not people only use it, I don't know. But yeah, I think that should be good. Aaliyah says, with the presentation interface, how do you think Disney will ease or convenience for the Hulu subscriber only to stay courtesy of Disney Plus, especially when there are Disney Junior productions featured? I think the big key thing for the Hulu interface is it's going to be based on your preference and what you've been watching. Now, if they can't get the stuff to come over from Hulu, that's going to be a bit of a problem and a little bit jarring. Hopefully, in the run-up, in the next few months, more people will start trying. I think the key thing here is when they announce that they're going to merge together and your Hulu and Disney Plus subscription is a Disney Plus subscription and you get access to Hulu, that might be the inclination to try and get people from Hulu to go over to the Disney Plus app, because they aren't going to be closing down the Hulu app straight away. And I think that's the key thing here is they're going to be probably 6 months to a year of the other app going on, and they are just going to try and start moving you over. They're going to try and encourage you to go over. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the thing. It's not going to be if you've got Disney Plus access, I personally would, if I was Disney, would be starting to, go, oh, you now have a Disney Plus subscription. Use the Disney Plus app. You just have a banner on the front page, or I don't know. They're going to need to get people over it, and that's going to take time. So that's why they probably aren't going to be closing down that Hulu app for a while. Kayla says the Disney will announce that they're consolidating the marketing teams of Disney Plus and Hulu. Do you feel they'll combine the IT teams as well? Oh, 100%. And I think that's already been happening. I think they've already been laying people off, getting ready for this. At the end of the day, once the mergers, maybe they might keep some of them on right now for the crossover period. But yeah, they are, without a doubt, I imagine now already integrated. The Hulu people, they've been planning for this for years. They've got everything in place. We're now going to start seeing what they've been working on, because I think this is the key thing with Disney Plus. They have been working on this whole integration of Hulu into Disney Plus for years. Now they can start doing stuff. Now they've got Comcast out the way. They've made it public. You're going to start. This is where they can start firing stuff into Disney Plus. Daniel says, since the Canadian Disney Plus Twitter account is already advertising Hulu on Disney Plus in Canada, do you think this is the rebrand of Star is Intimate? Well, we've been told it's full. So, I mean, we are the the 1st of September is the beginning of fall, technically. Maybe the middle of September, depending on which calendar you go by. And when I was going around the garden center earlier with all the Christmas decorations being put up, it was a little bit like, really? Okay, so we're creeping towards fall. We are only a couple of weeks away. So it could happen as early as September the 1st, but obviously it could go into November. I personally do think it's going to happen in September because they're going to want to get, this is the big push for the full season. I also wouldn't be at all surprised, like here in the UK, if we get the ESPN launch when the Hulu stuff kicks in and kind of do a double whammy of like a bit of a PR boost to, introduction of Hulu and ESPN, because we had some live football last night on Disney Plus here in the UK, which was the first live sports, and there is ESPN logos all over it, and the new ESPN documentary, The Kingdom, it's kind of got the ESPN logo all over it, and I am starting to wonder if they are going to do that with regards to the Canadian situation. The minute I started seeing because it's been like it for a few months now, the minute they started putting the Hulu logo on Disney Plus in Canada, that was the alarms are going off. You could see it coming a mile off. You could see it a mile off. As Kaylee says, I didn't find it a coincidence that when Disney announced that the Star would be rebranded to Hulu internationally, Reliance introduced a brand new Giallo Star, Hotstar. Reliance has also had to wait for Comcast to be out. Yeah, I think they've all been like waiting to get going. 100% waiting to get going. Aaliyah says, do you agree with the decision to cancel Goosebumps? I mean, I enjoyed the first season. I forgot to watch the rest of the second season. I watched a few episodes and drifted away, which is not a good sign. Ultimately, if the viewership wasn't there and it was costing them a bit more because it was being made from Sony, I would rather they invest that money in something that they own or something that they can. And if it's not working, put that money into something else. Goosebumps has been done loads and loads of times. I thought that first season was very well done. I like the fact that it felt like a show for teenagers that adults could enjoy, but it didn't feel like it was talking down to teenagers, because Disney has a tendency with a lot of their shows treating the viewer like they're an idiot. And I didn't think the first season of Goosebumps did that. The second season just wasn't as good. I think that's why I didn't bother watching it much more. But I ultimately, if they have to cancel it because not enough people watching it, makes sense to me. I think we've got to get this whole idea of that she shows if they only cancel stuff that isn't working or is costing them too much. Keenan says apparently Disney is deciding to do a Cool Running 2 movie. Not saying it's true, but just a rumor. That's the first I've heard of it, to be fair. Mama says Disney representative told Variety and other outlets that Hulu Live TV will merge along with regular Hulu into Disney Plus. What do you think? I think there was a little bit of miscommunication following that quarterly results, and there did seem to be some misinformation of some of the big trades not necessarily fully understanding of, you could read the text and listen to the words from Iger. They were merging together, and the simple truth is Hulu standalone app is closing down at some point next year. I think the trouble is with the Hulu Live TV, I'm not sure. Will Hulu Live TV be available within Disney Plus if you're subscribing? Possibly. I wouldn't like to say no. Personally, I think they are waiting until once they complete the Fubo deal, that's when they will then get that out of the way, and then they go, oh, by the way, due to the way that the business is right now, we're going to merge Hulu Live TV into there, and therefore, bing, bada, boom, they've just managed to solve the problem with the Hulu app. Now, whether or not you can access Fubo through Disney Plus, I don't think so. I don't think so. Mamad says, do you think that we could get streams centered around Hulu content once the merger happens? Like, will there be an Alien movie or Predator or Planet of the Apes? 100%. I think that is going to happen. And again, I think a lot of the changes to Disney Plus is that the fact that they having to wait for this Hulu situation. I think that's why we've not got them internationally. I think that's why we haven't got them yet. Yeah, I'm just not convinced that that they've been holding off on stuff because of that. And I think that's the big problem for a lot of this. I'm just getting some information for the question I've just spotted. Right, let me just have a look here for a question. So, just spotted a question there from Ricardo. I spotted this one. Where's my screen gone? There it is. There we go. So, I'm just going to answer this question here because this one is funny because someone else asked that one. Ricardo, yes. So, according to an official email I had from Disney this week, it says on Wednesday, September the 24th, Marvel Zombies premiere all episodes. That's what it says. It says all episodes. So that's pretty much getting that in place. So I'm just going to go through the live chat. Let's see what we've got here. Keenan says, it's a shame that Shrek 5 has been moved to June 30th, but with all the competition during the summer holidays, understandable. It might be, or the story isn't good, or you don't delay a movie just for that. It's primarily, I think the movie probably just isn't ready. You also said, I heard there's going to be an iCarly movie is going to be served as a finale. Do you think it could be a Paramount Plus original or theatrical film? I suppose it depends what the new Paramount owners think, whether or not they just want to get it out or if they think they can make some money with it. And that's going to be a key thing. You also said Superman was released on digital on Friday. I think they should have waited one more month before this digital release. I think, in all honesty, it's probably more about the fact that they need the money, and Warner Brothers is getting a bit itchy. There's probably digital versions and stuff floating around on sort of pirate sites. The money's been made. It's slowing down. The kids are going back to school. Yeah, I think this is the trouble with superhero movies. They're very front loaded, and once that starts dropping, they get to a certain point where they know they can make some more money. Again, thank you. Tough luck for your super chat. You are on fire today, so huge thank you for you. If the Wrap and the Hollywood Reporter are right, I'm glad Ryan Reynolds will be back in Avengers Doomsday. Disney's smart not to do Ryan Reynolds what they did with Johnny Depp over the lively Benoni scandal. I don't think it's in the same ballpark at all with that one. I don't think Ryan's in that same. I think, in all honesty, probably most people don't give two hoots about what's going on with that whole situation. I think it's a little bit of the trades love it, but I'm not entirely sure if the rest of the world really gives two hoots about it myself. I certainly don't. I think as far as Ryan Reynolds being in, I think it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a cameo or something, because obviously they're going to have to reset him and bring him into the MCU, because he's already been in there a little bit, but he's got time travel and all the rest of it, and he's crossed the borders and multiverse. And that was a multiverse story. It would make sense for them to bring him in. I think Deadpool, if they're going to reset this like after it, he's the one character, and also he could exist maybe in the MCU as someone that no one knows, and that could work. I don't know, but yeah, I think he's going to be in it. But they are going to have to keep him. I don't think he's going to be running around as a member of the core Avengers. I think because the problem with that is that it's going to be a family-friendly movie, and you can't have Deadpool in there too long without he's going to be overexposed, and people aren't going to like it. And they need to keep it, as I said, they need to keep it as a family-friendly movie. But again, thank you so much for that super chat. You're on fire today. Chris says, how do you feel about WWE Premium Events moving to the more expensive ESPN service? As someone in the UK, and they're all on Netflix, doesn't bother me. I'm sorry. So like, yeah, I wouldn't, if I was in the US, I would be a little bit cheesed off, because I would only have Peacock primarily because of WWE, and I don't like, if I was like, I don't want to have ESPN for live sports. It reminds me of what used to happen here in the UK, where I used to have to get Sky Sports. Literally, the only reason I had Sky Sports for like a decade was because I wanted to watch wrestling. I didn't care about any of the other sports, but I had to have Sky Sports to watch the Raw Rest, and that was the way of watching the premium live events at the time, because that's how what they used to be on. But I also remember for many, many, many years, I used to do the pay-per-views. But yeah, I'd be cheesed off because I think the premium live events being on ESPN is an expensive thing if you don't have cable. Ricardo says, with Hulu releasing in other countries later on, what does that mean for Hulu and Star systems will finally merge? I'll finally be able to watch Hulu originals in multiple languages in the US. I'm hoping that is something that's going to improve, because at the minute, the stuff that's in the US seems to be very all over the place. I'd imagine it should be easier to watch like a Korean show that's on Disney Plus in all languages because it's going to be built in the same system. Yeah, it just makes sense. The only thing but this is why I think when they've been putting them onto Hulu, they only put the English version on because essentially that's the target audience and that's all they're really caring for. But yeah, I think hopefully that will improve it. Kelly said it was misquoted. The live TV from Hulu was spun off the Fubo pending federal approval. The on-demand Hulu will be heading to Disney Plus. Yeah, and I think as well as Disney has to be careful with what they're doing with Fubo. They can't necessarily say what they're going to do. Kelly says, I also remember reading the Gilo Hotstar subreddit where folks are wishing the Hulu section to be returned to Hotstar. I'd like to see the Hulu section in the US to help organize things. I mean, it would make sense maybe if they're going to be getting all the bits and pieces. I'm just going to go to the top here, make sure I don't miss any. Keenan says, I remember when Stargirl and Hollywood Stargirl are not on Disney Plus anymore. When I found out that it's on Prime Video, could we see licensing Disney Plus originals on other streaming series? Yeah, I think some of this as well is they are probably legally what they can do with it. I wouldn't be at all surprised if in like 5 years they actually come back. But they are in much more in a zone of licensing. It does feel like the whole cancelling and throwing them and deleting them, that era seems to be over. Most things now seem to be getting licensed out, especially here in the UK. You go on Channel 4, Channel BBC or ITV, it's just wall-to-wall kind of Disney Plus originals now. It's kind of weird. Like, ITV are promoting Under the Bridge. Channel 4's got The Veil. They're all like heavily promoting on the front pages. And I'm like, well, that's all right. I've seen all this a while ago. Keenan's having a family gathering. Hope you have a fun time. Also, Miles is just arrived in Norway. So he's going to have a fantastic holiday there. Norway is a lovely country. I can't wait to go back. Babak says, when do you think Disney will shut down Hulu Perks? I think the Hulu Perks will probably continue under the Disney Plus Perks area as a way of them doing the whole more mature thing. So here's the thing that I think with Hulu. The Hulu branding is not going to be going away for years. It might never go. That Hulu branding for Disney is a little bit of a crutch where they can, especially in the US. In the US, they need it because Hulu's got so much connection and people know what it is. Internationally, it's just a simple thing. If Star means nothing, Hulu doesn't mean anything either. So they might as well just save a lot of time and money. But this Hulu brand is not going anywhere for a while. It could be years until they eventually start rolling off. For a long time, we're going to be seeing that Hulu logo popping up on all the films, all the shows, because they are going to want to try and disconnect it from Disney Plus. I don't think America's quite ready yet for how we have our posters and trailers where, 1,000 blows on Disney Plus, or, the bus goes past me yesterday and it's like Alien Earth on Disney Plus. I don't think America's quite ready for that. I've seen the Disney logo apply, and I think they're going to use that Hulu logo for a while to kind of get you guys used to it. Aaliyah was leaving very well. Matt says, I saw an article that Marvel's pretty much pulled out of filming in Georgia in favor of the UK due to cost, and we're seeing that Avengers, Doomsday, and Spider-Man branded it. Yeah, I think there's definitely a cost factor, like the budgets and so on. talent where they want to be as well. I think that's a big thing as well with who's getting the budgets, where the talent want to be as well. But yeah, the budget's going to come down to it. Also, less movies, less shows. This is going to be the fun part of the new next phase of Marvel. We're going to be seeing a lot less. So they aren't going to be needing to be filming in multiple locations. They're going to be doing one at a time. And I think that's the key thing we're going to see now. They are going to be doing one movie after another, and then they're not going to be shooting multiple things back to back the way they used to, because they're going to want that quality control. Chris says, with Fox introducing its own streaming service, do you see the Fox shows leaving Hulu? I think in 2029 when the deal runs out, so they've still got quite a while left. I think the world could, I don't know what the streaming world is going to be like in that amount of years. I would expect them to, if Fox One is successful. If Fox One isn't successful and they completely abandon it and just go to licensing, maybe Hulu continues. But I don't know. If I was calling it right now, I would probably say that deal more than likely is probably going to stop. There might be some exceptions with like The Simpsons and stuff, but while people are still tuning into the Fox channel, maybe not. Kelly said the only reason that Dancing with the Stars is the only show to be simulcast is because the original contract renewal was going to be a Disney Plus exclusive, but fan backlash caused them to rework the deal. I don't think it was just fan backlash. I just also think it was less people watching it. Babak says Disney really needs a new creative feature to hide stuff that you don't want to see, so that you don't want to see. I've never watched Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but it gets advertised daily. I do think this is something that I think they need it with the algorithm and the AI front page. That is a little bit like YouTube, where if they show you a thumbnail 3 or 4 times and you do not respond to it, they will not show that again. Disney needs an algorithm to work all that out. It's kind of a little bit like everybody gets Mickey Mouse Clubhouse because that's all we can do. And they know it. Bob Iger's talked about it so many times. They know they've got to change it, but they're just not ready yet. Elias says Business Insider, one of those type magazines, spoke with Disney IT employees, and they are indicated that they're happy and excited about it. They've been working on both separately. Combining will be easier. I think there's probably a little bit of PR there, but the ones that are left and working at Disney are happy because they're doing it and they've got their job. I think that it'd be more interesting if you asked the people that got fired in the last layoffs whether or not they enjoyed, because this has been going on for a while, and there will be more job cuts, but I think we've seen a lot of them already. Yeah, we did that one. Right. Matt says, what did you think of the new Alien show? I've only watched the first episode. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it. Looks good to me. Elijah, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to appear in Lilo and Stitch 2. Maybe. I mean, that might be a way of bringing in a different character and kind of doing something that could be a way. But, I mean, they're probably more likely to do it now because they know that it could make some money. I think they did cut some stuff to try and save some money, but maybe it is. Kelly said, doesn't bother me that PLEs are on ESPN. Since the current Disney bundle, I covers everything. I know some YouTube grifters are taking advantage due to the anti-Disney and anti-WWE stuff. Unfortunately, right now, we live in a world where everything that's negative is monetizable, and you are going to get people anti it. So, yeah, you're going to have the anti-Disney people, the anti-WWE people. You're going to have all kinds of stuff there going through of people just trying to make money. And yeah, that's definitely something that you're going to see. And I think that's just part of life now with YouTube. And you've also, I think people need to be a bit more aware of that situation of, like, for me, there's a whole load of YouTubers I just have muted at the channels, because to me, if all you were spewing out is 2 to 3 videos a day of how much you hate this and how much you hate that and how much I hate this and this I don't like and this I don't like and I hate this and I hate that, it's like, What are you doing? You don't like it anymore. Move on. But no, because there's more money to be made. If I do a negative story, it will get more hits and more clicks than a positive story. And I know that. And yeah, it's very easy to fall into that trap. But I'm personally just not that way inclined of, yeah, I'll talk about the negative stuff and I will criticize Disney. I will criticize them when they do stuff wrong or if they do stuff that I don't like. But the positive that I like outweighs the negative. And if I got to a point where I did not like it anymore, then I'd have to question the fact of, like, what am I doing? You know, if you do not like, and it's very easy when you become a content creator, especially when you start doing it full time, it is easy to get burnt out. It's easy that the thing that you love starts becoming your work and you start treating it differently. Or you start realizing that doing negative stuff just gets you more money, and some people are driven by that. To me, if you go to a YouTube channel or website and all they are doing is basically crapping on something constantly, I would question why they are doing it. And I would say that about anything. If you like wrestling, a football club, music, something like that. If all they ever do is just negatively go after it, and it doesn't seem to be constructive, or they never seem to like anything that comes out, then I would always be inclined to be like, they're not for fans anymore. And if all you want to do is just keep hating on something over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, then find something that you enjoy. If you don't like Disney anymore, or you don't like Marvel, go watch DC. Or if you don't like superheroes anymore, just stop watching it. Go watch something that you want to watch. The same thing, if you don't like a video game anymore, stop playing it and start playing something else. If you don't like something, move on. I mean, there's one thing if you might be like, I've got all this history and I don't like it. Fine. It's like Star Wars. If you don't like the new stuff, don't watch it. You can still go back and watch The New Hope. Same thing with Marvel. If you're not enjoying the new stuff, just or read the comics, or do there's also a lot of I think outdated ideas where Disney have been changing, and there's no doubt that they went too far one side and they've gone back the other way, and I think that they did annoy a lot of people and they went too far, and I think a lot of the studios did, and they're swinging back to try and course correct, and that's across multiple projects and multiple reasons for it. Ultimately the audience is what tells, and stories are going to get better, films are going to get better, because I think they're more focused on story. I do think Hollywood got a bit carried away, and that's not to say that anything like representation isn't. It's 100% important, 100%. But I think they did annoy a lot of people, because it went, and that is still flowing through. And I honestly don't think we are going to see any major changes for at least another 3.5 years, until we're just going to be living in a cycle of hate for a few more years at least. And I think that's going to be reality, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate that all that kind of kicks in. That was a bit of a rant, wasn't it? Bob says, what do you think Disney Plus now with CEO? I think it's too early to tell what they're doing. He's obviously spending a lot of money. They do seem to, there's rumors that they're going to might buy bits of Paramount, bits of Warner Brothers. Paramount, I think they have realized that they want to be one of the big boys, and they're going to have to spend money to be one of the big boys. But it does seem a little bit like, some rich kid's just got his dad's credit card and is literally able to write as many blank checks as he wants. Eventually, dad will be like, I think there is going to be that thing of the dad might turn around and go like, I'm spending a bit too much. Kelly doesn't mind if the Hulu brand, since it could be Disney's version of Adult Swim. I think it isn't going to be going anywhere. Elijah said, will D23 be virtual? There are going to be some presentations. 2 or 3 a day will be available on d23.com for gold members, which if you're a Disney Plus subscriber in the US, you can now get a D23 Gold member included in your bundle. So if you go into Disney Plus Perks, you'll be able to get a Gold membership through there. Bobatronic says, what features do you think will be out for Thursday for ESPN and Disney Plus? I don't know about any new features. It'll be interesting to see how all this comes together. It's going to be interesting for sure. Ricardo says, now that I think about it, could an option for a future rebrand of Star channels to call them FX channels now? I mean, they could do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was Disney right now and I had those Star channels, I'd just be there with Reliance going, like, guys, can we just, like, do a deal and license the name for TV channels for the next 3 to 5 years? Because we really don't want to spend any more money on rebranding. Leah says the 3-year mention, that's because of the production turnaround time frame. The 3-year mention. Maybe. Okay. Keep going fuzzy today. Out of come on me. There we go. Kelly says I probably share my thoughts on Nurse app since I have the Disney bundle. Yeah, let us know. Because it's going to be interesting to see how all this works. I know some people have been asking me for the tour. I'll have a look when it launches, but it depends on whether or not I can actually see it properly. Because of not being in the US, I might not fully be able to see the ESPN side of things. And if I can't see everything, then it's kind of going to be pointless. But it's going to be interesting to see how this works. Actually, let me do a bit of a question here, actually, on that one. Let's do another poll. Do you have cable or getting ESPN DTC? Yes. No. NA. International. Let's just see. Do you have? Are you going to be getting the ESPN direct to consumer, or do you have cable? I want to kind of see how much interest there is in ESPN, because I have been doing some ESPN kind of coverage over the last since they launched ESPN, but some of that is a little bit like I'm not 100% sure sometimes what it is. Let's jump back into the questions. Marmaud said, according to Jimmy Petro, ESPN is currently in negotiations with WWC to have the legacy WWE license. Do you think ESPN will get a deal? I mean, I think it would be good. I don't know what's going on with it. It does seem to be all over the place. I mean, we have a lot of them on Netflix now, but it's not the same as the WWE network. However, I think we're more likely going to start seeing stuff being just put onto YouTube, and that's where they make them. It's very niche product. I mean, how many people really want to go back and watch, I don't know, Stargate 1991 or, you know, some kind of random Armageddon one year? There is, I mean, yeah, WrestleManias and SummerSlams and Royal Rumbles, I think you kind of probably go back, but do they need every episode of Raw? Do they need every episode of SmackDown? I don't know. I think YouTube might be the best place for that. Bobatronic says, why did Disney remove the Watch Together feature from the Disney Plus app? So this was a feature they obviously brought in during the COVID era when people were sharing stuff. I think there are probably 2 major reasons for it. Actually, probably 3 reasons. First off, how many people were actually using it? That's the big question. If there's not enough people using it, is it financially viable to keep going? I think the other big issue was the introduction of the ad-supported tier, basically then changed everything. Because if I'm watching The Mandalorian and you're watching The Mandalorian and we start watching it together, but you're on the ad-supported tier, what happens? You know, do I have to wait for you? Do you suddenly, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not. I think the big thing really was lack of people using it, how much money it was going to cost them to fix it, and it felt like maybe a bit of a thing that got put together in a time when we needed it, and now we don't. I don't know. I've always found it a bit weird because I mean, I suppose you could just do a Zoom call or a Discord if you want to watch stuff together. Personally, I have never in my entire life thought of like what I have never ever thought of any time I've ever wanted. Let's watch a show together. Well, if we're going to watch a show together, I'll come over your house, or you come over here, or if we're going to watch something together. watching it on Zoom together. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I suppose people are kind of used to it, and the new generation have kind of got. For me, that just seemed, when I used to go over and watch WWE with my mates, we used to go over and watch it. That's kind of the most fun part of it was being together when you were watching it and eating snacks and chatting, and that was the fun of it. If I don't know, maybe I'm just old. I just don't get the point of it. Tim says, when do you think the teaser trailer will drop for Wonder Man? I think maybe I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was September. It depends. It's not running until December. So if it's not running till December, they might not run it till like November, maybe. There's no point going early. I know a lot of people kind of get this idea in their head that Disney Plus shows should be advertising and running their marketing campaigns for months and months and months and months before it comes out. It's television. Television doesn't work like that. There's no money to be made in that same way. Just drop it a couple of weeks before it comes out and it'll be fine. And also, I think the big problem for Marvel and Star Wars especially is people see the marketing campaigns for something like Fantastic Four and think that anything less than that means that Marvel doesn't care. And it's like, they don't have the budget for that. They probably spent more on the advertising for Fantastic Four than they did on Wonder Man. So yeah, I think that's the big problem of like people. They've not marketed it. They're not pushing it out enough. It's like, it's a TV show. How many TV shows do you see advertised outside of television? You don't get a lot. Keenan says Cinemax channels and HBO Family have already shut down. Should HBO channels move from linear to streaming and streaming channels since there's a decline in premium movie channels? Yes, but not yet. All the time they're still making money from them. Keep them going. Because the people that are paying for it, why shouldn't they have access to the television that they want to pay for? Just because there is something new and fancy doesn't mean that's all there should be. I mean, I very much feel like linear and streaming should now be treated equally, and that's what should be happening for now. And I think Disney seems to have got there with the idea of everything. It's not quite. There's still a little bit of a leaning towards like linear sometimes. But all the time they're still making money and there's still customers watching it. They should get access to stuff. That's the way I look at it. Baba Trolani says, do you think that ESPN direct-to-consumer is going to have an issue with the loss of their rights for the MLB and the UFC? I don't think it's going to help. I mean, that's the thing for me is like how much sport they've got is whether or not it's worth it. And I think that's going to depend on if they've got the sport that you want. For me, if I was in the US now, the addition of the WWE Premium Live Events would make me consider it. But my problem is I don't really care about any of the other sports. That's the problem. I mean, I might watch the odd NFL game, but it's like I had a Zone Game Pass last year, and I barely ever used it. I did watch some games, but I've realized that, to be honest, the 5-10 minute highlights on YouTube was enough for me. I think it's going to depend on how much sports you watch. Tim says, do you see the Hulu and Disney Plus YouTube channels merging together next year? No. They'll probably keep along for a little bit. And I think the Hulu brand isn't going anywhere for a number of years. And if you're putting out a trailer for like Eeny, Meeny and Alien Earth, then it kind of maybe you might want to keep it separate from Disney Plus for 6 months or a year. Eventually, you might start seeing more things popping over. But I'm just not entirely sure. Elliot says, I'm looking forward to no longer having to mention the Hulu when Disney Plus and Hulu merge, allowing the US to catch up with the rest of the world. Definitely looking forward to being simpler. The fact that when I talk about a Hulu original, that just means now it's a Hulu original. So that's going to be good. No longer having to... I kind of stopped saying Star a long time ago. I kind of, because to be in fairness, like here in the UK, Disney Plus stopped using the Star brand a long time ago. If you go on their social media, you don't see Star very much. In Australia, they did use the Star logo much longer, and they kept I think they were doing testing of different countries of seeing how things would react. In Australia, they kept saying, you know, it was a Star original. But here in the UK, none of the promotion for probably 2-3 years ever used the Star logo or the Star branding. I don't think it had that. And even in their press announcements, they didn't really call Star Originals. They kind of, the UK side definitely just started drifting away. So I am looking forward to no longer having to kind of refer to Star. I am also really looking forward to the concept that I can no longer have to say, this show is coming to Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus. I can just say it's coming to Disney Plus. That's going to be great. I am still going to be, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of Hulu words for a couple of years. I don't think that's going away anytime soon, but it's going to become simpler, definitely. Caleb says, there's been a lot of mixed reports on the trade whether or not Ryan Reynolds could appear. He's better off, say, for Secret Wars. Maybe. Again, I think he's going to be a cameo in both films or just one of them. I'm not expecting him to be a main character. Daniel says, when Hulu fully merges into Disney Plus in the US, do you think they'll keep using the Hulu Twitter account or just use the Disney Plus like the rest of the world? I think they're going to use it for at least a year or a couple, until when the Hulu app completely closes. I would fully expect another year of them using that social, because if it's got the reach and it can reach people, it makes sense for them to continue to do so. Because again, they're going to need to reach it. I mean, I don't know how many people have it got. I mean, they do eventually do stuff. I mean, Hulu does have 1.1 million followers. So that's something definitely to be, let's just see here, Disney Plus. Where the Disney Plus, see, there is a big difference. Yeah, the Disney Plus account has 6.1 million followers on Twitter, and Hulu has 1 million. But they're not going to want to give that up straight away. Man says, after Disney renewed the HBO Max add-on deal in 2024, the entire HBO library can be viewed within the Disney Plus or within Hulu app. Do you think the HBO Max content will move to Disney Plus once it merges with Hulu? I think it depends on their idea of, are they going to do more bundles in the future? It'll be easier when they've got one app so they can do it. My question is whether or not they're going to go down this line of offering bundles with other platforms. If they are, then yes. If they aren't, then probably no. There is also my worry of, do they want to become Amazon and sell other people's stuff, or do they want to be Netflix and just be Netflix? Personally, I'm not so bothered too much about a bundle, but I think making deals like with Paramount, and I'm just not sure that's a good move from Disney. To me, it always looks a little bit like, well, why do you need somebody else's stuff? Elias says, does it surprise you that Alien Earth is only available to those with a Hulu subscription versus to free from the Hulu title? It doesn't surprise me, because generally what they tend to do is a few months later, they then make it available to everyone. They don't do it straight off the bat, because they want you on the bundle. That's the key thing at the minute. And it's only $1 more to have the bundle, so it makes sense to do so. But they usually don't offer all the big shows until a little bit afterwards. It was also very interesting that this was the first month that Disney did not announce what things are going to be available for them all. I'm still leaning on the fact that I wouldn't be at all surprised if this Hulu merger actually happens like September, October. The more I'm thinking about it, I think they might blast it and just do it, and then say, like, Hulu, a single app will be available for until June 2026 or something like that. I think they're going to just pull the trigger on it and get it going. They've set the tone. They've boiled up the frogs. Everyone's happy in the hot water. Now they just have to do that final switch. Milo says, what do you think about Disney or Paramount Skydance's strategy for Paramount Pictures, emphasizing more on theatrical release over streaming, including Star Trek films, family-friendly and R-rated? I think it makes total sense. I think Paramount has been looking at the world of media, and has realized that there is money to be made from theatrical. And it kind of makes sense. You put out a movie in cinemas and it gets money. You have an advertising campaign for that movie. It makes money. They also, I think Paramount also owns some movie chains as well, so they might try and sell them off. And then the movie then comes to streaming, and people are much more likely to watch it. Here's the simple truth: when you see a movie pop up on a streaming service, and it's been in cinemas, are you more likely to watch it than if it's a straight to streaming movie that you've never heard of? Because I know I do. It's like we'll go through the movies on Netflix or something like that, something to watch. And if I don't recognize the movie title, I'm like, no, I'm not. We'll skip that. And my wife says, well, how do you know it's not good? And there's a few times of going, if I don't know about it, then to me, that is kind of, if I don't know about it and I haven't heard of that movie, then that means it's not been on any of the major trades. That means no of my press friends and social circles are talking about it. For me, that is usually a sign that it's basically a blockbuster, straight to video kind of movie, and I'm probably maybe not going to check it out. Now, some do come over, and they are good. And obviously there are good ones that drop on Netflix and them, but usually if they have a bit of promotion about it. But yeah, that's I think it makes total sense. Elliot says, do you think that Disney Plus will release curated playlists to everyone? They will have their own collection. Right now they're all on the homepage. Maybe. I think we're probably going to see a refresh of the playlist system once Hulu's fully integrated, when they can actually embrace it a little bit more, when they can have a Family Guy and an Aliens and Bob's Burgers. They can really embrace it when it's all interconnected. And I think that's why we've not got channels globally, because it doesn't, the current way the US ones work, international audience would be like, well, where's the rest of it? Why haven't we got like these other shows on there? So I fully expect the streams will start once the brands come together. Then they can roll out stream globally, and that'll be a lot better for it all. Caleb asks, with the ESPN direct-to-consumer and Fox One announcing a bundle together, could you see more bundles with streamers down the road? Probably. It does feel like there's too many mini bundles. I mean, what you really need is one big bundle that everyone has to pay for, and everyone gets everything. I mean, that's just seems like the dream for these studios, where everyone has to have the channels, whether you subscribe or not. I mean, I don't know if that idea has been tried before, but maybe they should give it a go. But yeah, I think all these bundles are a little bit ridiculous. I think from Fox's and ESPN, what they are maybe looking for is to see if they can get people to jump that are going to jump from cable to streaming. They might be able to keep them a little bit longer. Myra says, do you think that the recent success of Freaky Friday could lead to Disney to make more live-action movies that aren't remakes of their animated films? Yes. They know it. They know they've overcooked it. And that's why because I think Freaky Friday probably would have been a Disney Plus movie if it was 2 years ago. Tim asked, is the Lucky Rabbit TV series going to be released next year? I think so. I mean, they're filming it now, so I would expect next year. Bubba Trolling, final pre-done question, and be live for the rest of the show. Bubba Trolling says, do you think the ESPN Unlimited will be accessible to Hulu Live subscribers by signing in with their My Disney account login, or have to select Hulu Live for their TV link provider? That's a good question. No idea. I mean, my gut would be along the lines of your Disney ID should know that you're a subscriber. So that would make the logical sense for me, because your Disney ID is what you're going to be using to get in there. So that would make more sense to me. Let's have a look. Let's go into the live chat. Let's see what we've got here. And it says, I know Petro wants the WWE library on ESPN, but I get a feeling it's a non-exclusive deal where it's shared with YouTube, but they won't get the access to the vote with other deals. No. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop a TV spot for Wonder Man during the NFL games. Yeah, definitely that. Or more just a generic Disney Plus trailer. Kelly says, I know the Athletic reported that ESPN is negotiating for a restructured MLB contract. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think some of these sports leagues have got a little bit carried away with what they were expecting to get paid. And there's going to be, I think we're going to hit a limit where Netflix and Amazon, there's a little bit of a bidding war right now. But I think they're going to be very much like, we like it. We want it. But there's a limit to how much we're willing to spend. And MLB also is probably, I think there's a lot of them that are very much reliant on the old system in the US. And yeah, I think they need reach. Aaliyah says the merger's happening this year. Well, they said that the Hulu app is going to go away in 2026. And to me, that's a very almost like the final step. They can merge them. Or like usually in October time, they do the price rise, don't they? So this year, they might be able to go, right, we are merging Hulu and Disney Plus together. It's now going to cost $11.99 or $10.99. I mean, I personally would be like, we're going to price it at $10.99, keep it the price of the bundle. And you're going to get some people complaining about the dollar price rise, but you just take it on the chin and be like, this is the crossover period and that's it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I also have I don't know. In some ways it feels like, well, why not just do it? They've set the tone. They've set the thing out onto the social media. Now everyone is kind of aware of the situation. So yeah. Thank you, Derek, for your super chat. Thank you so much for your continued support. You are awesome. I heard that Skydance thinking about merging Paramount Plus and Pluto TV. I enjoy Pluto, so I'm saying no to that. So there's been a lot of talk. So I think the guy that owns Paramount now, he did say that currently they've got multiple streaming services all on different tech and different ad networks. And what they want to do is, in order to save money, they want to move all that into one app or one system. And I think he did say that they might not merge at the beginning, but some of them might end up, I think Bet might end up, some of the smaller ones are going to merge into it. I think we're in a bit of a consolidation mode. There is too many apps. And here in the UK, we have Pluto, Channel 5, and Paramount Plus. Too many. I don't think we really needed Pluto. I think they should have just bundled that in with Channel 5. I think the way they could get around that is if you put all the content that's free in Pluto, put it into Paramount TV Plus, and they have a free tier on Paramount Plus. That I think we're probably going to start seeing. I mean, I would do that for Disney Plus. Actually, I'd make the streams available like Pluto. Just if you can get in there and watch them for free. You have to watch ads, but I think they are looking at it like these apps will have so much more bigger scope if they are integrated. I think the same thing with Tubi. Put Tubi in with Fox One. You get Fox One, you get the free access, and then you have to pay for. I just feel like we're in this consolidation thing of we need less apps. I know a lot of people do talk about it. Personally, it's not an app I use. I never really tend to think of going in there. I think over here are free-to-air networks like BBC and ITV and Channel 4 and Channel 5. I don't really go on 5 that much, to be honest, and that is kind of the Pluto stuff. I think they're a bit stronger sometimes. But again, thank you so much, Derek, for that support. Hopefully that answers it. Aaliyah says, Disney's financial begins in October. Does that make business sense if the integration begins then? Excellent point. I mean, it could do. I mean, that could be a way of doing it. I just feel like the price rise is the biggest problem. And I think if they sell it to the idea that you're going to get it at the same price, that is going to work for people. And I just think, because ultimately Hulu is $9.99 and Disney Plus is $9.99, and the bundle is $10.99. So if they simplify it that all Hulu subscribers are now Disney Plus subscribers, or anyone that's already an existing subscriber gets turned into a, if you've got either one, you get turned into a Disney Plus subscriber. And if you've got the bundle, you're already I think that would make sense. And doing that in October, and I think not doing a price rise. They are doing a price rise because obviously it's going up $1, and some people are going to be like, they only have Hulu, but you might mitigate the negativity. If they go up to $11.99, people might, and then they can keep Hulu as a standalone option keep the app running. You just keep the app running. Maybe you don't do solo Hulu subscriptions anymore. It's like, yeah, you want Hulu, you get it, but you can access it through Disney Plus or Hulu. They got to simplify it, and in some ways not overthink it. And they've just got to, I think, again, October could be a good time to do it. Alternatively, I mean, again, it makes sense from the point of view of more people are watching TV in the winter. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Kelly says, I do think the pay-per-view model is adequate for sports, but it's still viable for film since there's a lot of cheaper. I do wish that AEW would make a deal with HBO Max for live events. Yeah, I am surprised. The UFC people have been very open about the fact that they wanted to get away from the pay-per-view model and that it doesn't work anymore. And they'll get much bigger reach with the new deal. So I think the pay-per-view, again, AEW is a bit of a weird one. Making money never seems to be the big thing for him. I'm surprised they didn't do the premium live events with Max before, but it does seem a bit weird. Barbuck says, should Disney Plus add a free tier to compete with Tubi and Pluto more directly? 100%. I think what they should do is they make the streams become the freebie. Anyone can have a Disney Plus subscription, and you will get access to ABC News Live. Maybe not all of the channels. Maybe you make Disney Junior. Maybe you only get access to like half the free channels or something like that. But I mean, they're going to make money off the advertising. Okay, so I remember reading Paramount Plus just barely made a profit while Peacock is still in the red. I believe Paramount Plus played the long game with bundles, making it a paid add-on. Yeah, I think that's what they've been doing. Final question. So if you've got any last-minute questions, feel free to pop them in now before we finish for the day. Bubble Trolling says, how will TV networks companies like Discovery can survive without a big streaming service? There's a reason why they're all being sold off and spun off, because this is kind of like the era of other companies are going to sweep some of these television networks up, and they're going to run them into ground to get as much advertising as possible to just basically make as much money. The reason they're all spinning them all off is because they are starting to lose money and they're losing assets. Disney looks to be looking at this very differently than like Warner Brothers, but Warner Brothers, to me, looks like they're getting ready to sell. Comcast, I don't know what they're doing. They're all over the place. Elias says, interesting that Disney ESPN didn't counter to keep UFC, remove pay-per-views, yet maybe nothing what they offered would keep it if Dana wanted to leave ESPN. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought they'd been negotiating for a while and they wanted it. I do wonder if it's more Paramount went crazy and Disney went, yeah, we ain't paying that. That might be just it, where they just went, oh, no, we're not paying that much. Because I think ESPN, they'd been negotiating for a while, but maybe Paramount just came in and was like, money. Mama says, where will you be asking a US member that is getting ESPN to do a walkthrough for the hub? That's not a bad idea, actually. That might not be a bad idea. Caleb says, I do agree that sport leagues are getting carried away with the sports rights. Paramount massively overpaid for the UFC, and it will cause problems when the UFC is up for renewal, since a lot can change in 7 years. Yes, that's going to be a big, big thing. Mark Spiro said they plan to split up the UFC package, but Skydance blew them away. Yeah, I could believe that. I would imagine that they were like, because Skydance is going to come in now. He's coming in hot. He's going to be buying stuff up because he's got a new checkbook and he's got a brand new toy. And daddy's paying for it all. And yeah, there's going to be a little bit of carnage, I think, with them. Bobatronic says, do you think Disney Plus should include WWE PLEs? Well, ultimately, they're going to be on UFC now. Well, not on UFC. They're going to be on ESPN. I mean, I would think it'd be okay, but they need it for the sports aspect. Right. Okay, diddly do. So on that note, guys, thank you very much to everyone for your messages, for your support. Big thank you to Tough Luck and also Derek for sending in your super chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you to Elijah for becoming a new member. Again, thank you for Bubba Trolling for being a member for 49 months. That is fantastic. And again, a big thank you to Aaliyah, Kalids. We've also got Mammoud. We've got, let's see who else is in here. Make sure I'm missing one. Ricardo, Elijah, Matt, Chris, Babak. We've also a big hello and welcome to Matt and Keenan. Again, thank you to everyone, Miles as well. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'll be back next week with another live Q&A. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys later. Tally ho. Toodaloo.